All right, it's recording.
I guess here I'll start it.
Okay.
All right, so we are group two. We decided to make a COVID watch that would track and monitor those who may have COVID. I think we all thought it was pretty important to an important issue to address right now, given the circumstances we're in with the pandemic. So this is the design we came up with and sort of the process we've gone through over the past few weeks to create this design.
The problem our team tried to address is the spread of coronavirus and the severity of each case by monitoring our users' symptoms. Our system will help combat the ongoing issues surrounding COVID by closely monitoring and tracking certain health data metrics that relate to the symptoms and side effects. Our problem affects anyone who has been or could be exposed to COVID around the globe.
So some common problems existing solutions have. One is that there really is no existing solution as of right now that successfully implements like a one-stop shop platform for all COVID-related data. And like a person has to navigate multiple platforms in order to find all of the data they are looking for. For example, you cannot see high-risk COVID areas and track your COVID symptoms in the same application. Also, some apps are too vague and do not provide in-depth COVID information that users would like to see. And in the first picture, you can see that the screen, this app screen is pretty vague and doesn't explain all the necessary data. And also, most health wearables, like the Apple Watch or Fitbit, are not programmed to collect COVID data. And currently, there is no wearable technology designed to do that. And then lastly, another big issue with existing solutions is a lot of applications are created solely, are basically contact tracing apps, which are viewed as unreliable and can pose privacy and accuracy issues. So what we did with our app was basically created solutions to combat all those problems and implement health tracking and COVID information that users would like to see.
So this is our solution. So first on the left, you see the wristband, which is a wearable tracking wristband watch. And so essentially the user will wear this at all times. There's three parts to this band. You have the band, the device, and then the separate charger. So you can see it's a smooth, simplistic, and sleek design. And the device lays flat on the user's wrist in order to properly function and collect data. You can see in the second picture, it's using LED sonar technology, and the sensor is able to measure health data. And then the metallic material on the outer ring will measure your temperature. And then the charging device will slide over the top, so it can come on and off. And then to the right of the screen is our mobile device application. So this will sync up with the band, as you can see in the third picture. And so in the first picture, you have the login page where the user can log in. And then the second page is the home page that will take you to the rest of the pages within the application. The third, you can see where you connect to the watch. The fourth is the profile page, so it has all your information. The next is your daily status. So this is where you can log all your symptoms and track your health data. The next shows the positive status page. So this is where you can upload your test results and share your results with others. The next page is the local risk rating page. So you can see your local area status on the virus. So you can see Bloomington is at high risk. And then on the last page is the local regulations page. So you can see your area status in terms of local regulations that you should abide by in order to stay safe and keep others safe.
So there were a number of things we had to consider with the evaluation process. So, like we had to sort of understand like how we had to sort of question how we would get a lot of people to use something that hasn't yet been created physically. So what we did is we created this survey that had the images that you just saw of our design. And it asked sort of the simple questions we were asking each other last week with our task analysis. And basically we sort of went through and asked each person to rate the number of steps it would take to complete that task. So you'll see here's some of our examples. We asked, some of them were about like how long it would take you to log in, how long it would take you to connect to the wearable device. You'll see here also like how long it would take to create your profile and save it, how many steps it would take to like log your daily status, and so on and so forth. So after all these evaluations, we sort of went back to what we did the week before, and we looked at how we each evaluated those steps, and sort of compared it to what others were saying in our survey or questionnaire, and sort of like then analyzed the results. And you can see here on the right is our outcome average. So that's sort of like the average from each of these graphs, like number of steps for each of the tasks. So we sort of compared those to how we were all rating them, and had some interesting results. We concluded that with the application interface design, the login was sort of the same number of steps as what we were saying. The profile setup was the same, actually even less in some cases. Some people said that it took less steps than what we thought it would be. Also, users understood how to check high-risk areas, so that was a success. Some of the things that we sort of failed with on the application design based on the results were people seemed confused with how to access their health data, and like overall just had like some confusion with that. So design, the pros were users sort of understood the design. They understood like that, like you could take this charging piece and put it over the wearable. But then also there was 20% of the survey had said that they found this somewhat impractical. So that's also something we would have to address going forward. Overall, like with our evaluation process, it was able to provide a solid base for feedback. It utilized steps or clicks well without the user having to actually like interact with something physical on their phone or on their wrist. And it provided a great opportunity and insight for how we may tweak our design just going forward. Some of the cons were that in some of the tasks, they probably weren't specific enough. It sort of failed to like pinpoint the number of steps for certain tasks. So like, I think we had one back here that was it had a ton of variation between the number of steps. Like the daily status, you can see it's sort of skewed. Like each of them had a pretty even distribution. And then also there was little like non-structural information. So it was all based on the number of tasks, and it was less about, a verbal communication between us and our users of what they felt were actually feeling when they used it. So some of that information would have been valuable as well. That's sort of it. And we're excited for any questions or any comments coming forward so that we can hopefully improve this. And thank you.